deepening functions logic. Alright, so agenda today we're looking at TypeScript setups, what variables are in TypeScript and in JavaScript. What TypeScript are in JavaScript and what variables are in TypeScript and in JavaScript, functions and logic. Then we'll take questions and answers. So first, let's talk about the installation of TypeScript. In our previous class, we spoke about JavaScript to TypeScript switch, and I discussed in details about JavaScript and also TypeScript. So I'll be running the two side by side so you can see the difference. So for this, we'll be basing more on TypeScript after taking these first topics. Alright. So first, so before installing TypeScript, you need node.js because TypeScript is installed using npm. So this thing is very true. So you must have this node.js on your PC, installed on your PC before you can able to run TypeScript on the device. So we're doing a live installation. I will just be brief about it, show you the guidelines to follow. We'll set up a basic TypeScript file. I'll also show you how to compile the JavaScript and also JavaScript running physically on this TypeScript. And before I proceed, the file extension for TypeScript is TypeScript, alright, JS JavaScript. Alright, so I will stop my screen and share my entire screen again. Rahim, welcome. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I didn't see your assignment.
So where is the assignment? So I found the question.
Your image gallery.
Image gallery.
I think you are not in the class when we discuss that. Alright, so quickly I will share. I hope you can see my screen. Confirm that you can see my screen.
No, I can't.
I can.
Alright, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can see.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so first thing we said is that Node is needed, so you must install Node. So how to install Node? Simply just type Node. Yes, you can type JS download, and it will take you. You will see the official link, node.js.org download. Click on it, and you get this downloaded. Right? If it's for Windows, right? So I have a lot of operating systems which you can download, and you can even download the zip file. Right? To get that download, I have it installed on my PC. So once you are done downloading, you check if it's running on your PC. So how do you check? Go open your terminal. So I'll close this. How do I open my terminal? Okay, let's say just come to this place, these three dots in my VS Code. You see terminal. I can open a new terminal. So this terminal is simply where we run some commands. Right, run server commands. Alright. So to check if Node is installed, you can say node-e, and you can see that it's showing my version to show that I have Node installed on this PC. So suppose I don't have, so you can check your own, and if you have an error, it means you don't have Node installed on your PC, so you can download it. Node. The first thing is to have Node. First, proceed to our first. So say download Node from the official website, which is what I just showed you. Install it on your system, which is the process after downloading, and verify installation using the terminal, which is exactly what I just did now. So the command on the terminal is node space -v or npm-v, any of these two, right? Once you download Node, automatically comes with this Node package manager. This is npm Node package manager. So exactly where we download all packages that we use. So this is an open source. Okay. So you can actually do your own program and still push it to npm. This is an open source. Okay, so let's proceed. So install TypeScript. So after we have done that, so we'll set up a basic. Let's open, this is our folder we are open. So let's open a topic. Let's call it two folders. Let's call this TypeScript. And let's call another one JavaScript. So not inside, outside of it, JavaScript. All right, but for now, let's do the setup. The JavaScript is straightforward. It runs on the web, so it's straightforward to run. Link it up to your HTML and run it. But for TypeScript, there are a few installation. That's why we said that the learning curve of TypeScript is a little bit more deeper than JavaScript. JavaScript is just straightforward, but TypeScript is a little, because it's a package. It's like a framework, right? It's like a framework that was run under JavaScript, so there'll definitely be a setup to configure that. So first, I open this. So once I open this folder, my directory here, you can see that I'm still on my folder. So I have to move into this TypeScript. So how to do that? I will simply say cd capital letter TypeScript s, and I will enter it, this one. Perfect. Then I can first thing say download. Let's view our documentation. So first, install TypeScript globally. So this globally means is present in your. So I will explain two things. I didn't put the second locally because I want to explain it during the code. Alright. So this global, I will explain what this global means, and also you can install globally and also locally. So the installing globally with this -g, it means you are trying to say, let this parent version of this TypeScript I'm installing be available in every program I'm doing on my PC. So once I install, I don't need to install it again for any project. All I have to do is just initialize that project, and that's all. So that is for global. But the disadvantage of using global is that, say for instance, a particular app, your global app is 2.2, right? And you now have a project that runs maybe on 4. You can see that you're now having an issue with version control. So most times we recommend that maybe each project you are building, you locally download it specifically for that project, so that it's easier to track the control and manage. Okay. So I'll be doing local. So I'll show you the global. So it's simply very easy. So we have npm install -g TypeScript, or you can also say npm install TypeScript, then you say g, either way you want to place it. So just on your terminal, you say npm install, or I in short. Anyone can say short form of it is I, or you want to write it in full, then you can do that also in install. But let me use the short form because I like something very quick. I, and the name of TypeScript. So I say you can add globally after or before the TypeScript. So if I download, I've downloaded it already before, but let me still install it again. I've installed it before. So I think this will take a little time while we wait for it. Okay, so I will proceed while we wait for this to install. So after installing, we'll verify the same thing we did for testing the node. But this time around, we'll call this TSC. This is what the command for TypeScript, TSC. Then this is the command. Then we'll now say, okay, what do we want to do? We want to check this version. Let's check if it's downloading. I think I didn't even enter before now. I just wanted to download it and show. All right. So I will just proceed. It will take a little minutes. Us, yeah, a few minutes. So great. So after we are done with that, I will speak about saving this locally. So let me just simply show that why this is downloading. So I can break out another. I think it's already going already. So you can see it's installing. So that is the symbol you see to know that it's already installing. This kind of a spinner moving like a snake. So you can also design this in your HTML, right? Called spinner. So maybe that you can see already installed. So if I say TSC terminal TSC version. So you can see my version. Alright. So by this, I have installed this globally, but I don't recommend this global installation. So in every project you are doing, I just want you to install it on that project. So let's say this project is TypeScript. So for me to install it directly on my project, I will use the command npm I TypeScript hyphen. The difference between the global, this one says save hyphen dev. So it will save in the development directory of dev development key under our object, under our package object. So that means it will be available during development. So when deploying this, we don't need it because everything is still compiled down to JavaScript. So that is why we are saving it to dev, so we don't have sort of a lot of things to bundle during deployment. Okay, so if I open this, so you can see immediately I downloaded this locally, this node model was present. So you can see the package where it was done. You can see it under the dev dependency, right? Under the dependency, this is the key. So it's only available for us during this development process. I hope that is clear. So next thing we have, we say we should create, after this, we check the version, we have done that. So create typing configuration. So generate a typing configuration. So for every project you do, you must initialize it. So we use the command nps tsc init. nps tsc init. nps, this is the node package manager command, right? Install initialize TypeScript, and this is the command. So let's do that. So I'll say nps tsc hyphen init. So this will install the configuration exactly. So the typing configuration JSON. You can see it, all the configuration we need for our TypeScript. So we have actually installed this. So I've actually installed TypeScript on this. So let's a bit modify this TypeScript before we move further. So I will create more folders here. So one of the folders I'll create is build. Next one I will create is src. So src is exactly where all our files will be stored, all our TypeScript files will be stored. Then build is where it's converted, is being compiled to JavaScript. So that's what we'll be saying, that everything here compiles back to JavaScript and runs on the browser. So this will have the src. So under this build, we will have our entry for index.html, index.html. So I will just set up actually. I will call this TypeScript. All right. So I will have another one, call it JavaScript JS. So it will be a folder JS. So this is where all our code will be compiled into. Our code will be compiled into this. So let's set something. I'll come to this config. I will change this come to here have compiler options, right? So the root directory, so where is running from, right? Where is it running from? I think this is. So you remove this forward slash. Remove it also from this art directory. Alright. So already we are using src folder. So this root directory is already correct. So here, this is our art directory. That means where it's being compiled into. Is we have another folder called is build. Alright. So since we have another folder called build, we have to remove this. So we said we want it to compile into build, and we have another folder inside the build called JS. So compile into JS. So I'll bring down this my terminal. So we do some changes on these two models later on. I will do some changes here, but let's proceed for now. All right, so I will have a simple code so that it will generate, it will compile it. So I'll come to this place. Let's just say on this place we'll call. So the extension from on this source, that's only where we are creating our file. So I'll have main.ts, right? Let's say this is it, or let's call it intro, since we are staying intro.ts. All right. So I can open here now, and so for me to compile, anytime I want to compile, you can say tsc. So I have two ways which I will point. Maybe later on we'll be using it. So only this will just compile, and you have to run it separately. Or we use the tsc -watch, so it will compile and be watching for changes. All right. Oh my god. So you can see it has compiled and waiting for changes. So find 0 error and watching for file change. So that is what that one is doing. So I just open and run at the same. It compiles and run at the same time. That is what we are trying to say. So if you check this build and this JS, you see that it has created this TypeScript for me and a map. Ignore those things, and it's being converted. So everything I'm doing on my JS will be converted into this JS, into this intro.js. Everything I'm doing on this place, they will convert it back into this intro.js, and this will be running. So on our index.html, we'll be linking to this JS. We'll be linking to that JS. So I will scroll down this, and I will come down here, and I have script. So when you are placing your script on this head section, always make sure you defer. I will explain why that thing is happening and why you need it. All right. How do I place that? b/js/intro.js. All right. So I say you specify differ here, but supposing it's below the body, I may not need that differ anymore. So what this means, they're saying it will only run this script after all the HTML elements have run. That's only what this thing is saying. If you run after this, every element, HTML element has run. So there will be another one type we add, but I will do that later on. So this is it, it's already running. So I can say here, alert, alert, alert. I say, I am writing my first TypeScript program. All right, something like this. That's how it. All right, so if I run my HTML using the live server, I'll just run this HTML on my live server because everything still compiles down to the browser. So this will run on the browser.
Which direction do
Nahim,
you
I
go?
hope you are following.
Exactly the house. Should I play version?
Nahim,
Yes, sir.
all right, all right, good. Are you are you walking along with me, or you are just looking?
I'm currently looking, sir.
You're currently looking.
So you're moving too fast. You're going so fast.
Oh, I'm moving too fast.
Yes.
Oh,
We teach
uh,
people
uh, uh,
development, front-end
okay.
development,
Okay.
back-end, cybersecurity.
All right. So where are you confused on, or where am I too fast on, or where did you
On
understand? So what
the
did you
on the
understand?
globally and locally TypeScript
Installation.
installation. Yes. Which one should I
Why did you
install?
come
Should
back
I
some
do
time ago? It left me to be running. Okay, so let me explain that again. So that is just installation, right? So we say first thing when using TypeScript. First thing when using TypeScript, we say first thing is that you must have code, and I showed you how to download it. And after downloading, you check that it is correct by using this terminal code to check that it's correct. Then after that, you will now come and install that TypeScript. It's either you want to install it to be present on my PC. Every project I want to open, it will just be present for me. Or I want to be doing it at every project I want to open and install it on that project, which I recommend. I recommend that every project you install on that project, so that whenever the version changes, it can be controlled easily, and you can copy your code and give it to someone else. And the person just say npm install. Since the package is present there, it will install the version, that very current version, so you don't have any issue. Just imagine you wrote a code here, and that code is running on version 2.2, and you now copy that code and give it to somebody, and that person's phone is running version 4.4. There is a problem. Most many things will not work because they are not the same version. All right, so that is it. So that is it. To do that for global to be present for my PC, use npm install -g global TypeScript, or TypeScript -g, either way you want to place it. It's all good. Then I said for local, which is for the project, you use the same npm install TypeScript, but this time around, instead of -g, you say -save -dev development. All right. So it stores on the dev dependency. It stores on the dev dependency, meaning only the development period is when we need it. While building or hosting our website, it won't be compiled, it won't be built, it won't be bundled. All right. So that is what we are saying. So to verify, you use this tsc version to show you something like this version. I hope that is clear.
yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So after doing this, it will install, but after installing it, that is not the end. After installing, you must initialize. It's just like I install and I want to open it. Just imagine you install WhatsApp and you need to open it. It's useless. All right. So you will open it and do some setup. So that is the same thing we are saying here. So after installing, we will initialize it to do some setup. So to initialize it, to use the command, say nps tsc hyphen hyphen double hyphen init, and this will initialize it. So immediately initialize it, it will provide this folder, this JSON file, tsconfig.com. So why this node module is here is because we installed this locally on our TypeScript. So that is why you see. So if I open this, you can see it. TypeScript. That is what is inside of the TypeScript and other package stuffs. Then after doing that, after this config, I say create. We want to modify, structure our code. So I want them to place whatever we are doing at the right folder, just like a catalog now, where we arrange our documents. So the same thing I'm trying to do. I just want to arrange everything so it doesn't look scattered. So everything that we build, I want to put them inside the build folder, and everything I want to be using, my own files, I put them inside src. So I created these two folders, build and src. So under this build, I add my direct file entry points, index.html. So I have explained why it's always index. All right. On my JX, I just write JS. All these things was not present. I didn't have any of this one. So even if I delete this and I compile this again, this will stop on your own. So let me do that. Let's see. Let's test it. I believe so. But let's try and see it. I deleted it. So you can see everything I want to compile now will be stored inside. So let's do some changes on our JS. So I put full stop here and try to compile again. You can see that automatically I compile by using refreshing because it's already watching. So to compile, use tsc-watch, tsc space -watch, so it will compile and run. So automatically you see it that it is compiled and my JavaScript, everything I'm writing is being translated here. So you can see it. Alright. So this is using a strict mode on object, export, and default. So we're doing some changes so we're able to run our code. So before then, let me add something and test if this will actually make sense. So let's add a type of modules. So this file, this script is a module file, meaning we can accept. Yeah, we're running our code. I think we're running it here. Yeah, refresh. I think I have an error. Let's see. We have an error on the console. Uncut. Export is not defined. Exactly. Alright, so we'll do some configurations here. So instead of come to this place, we will downgrade some version. So on these modules, I will change it to ES next. ES. So this will automatically create the export button for me. This very module. And I will reduce the target to ES 2017. So we have a lot. So let's just use ES 17. I will refresh. Alright. Let me see again. So you can see that my code is running now. So if I refresh, every time I refresh, it says refresh. I am writing my first time. Refresh. I say I am writing my first time program. See, hearing me, is that clear? Am I too fast?
It's clear, sir.
It's clear.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. So let's proceed. So that is all with the installation. Right. So you can see that I have a well-working program and where I can have all my work. Right. So here I can have my normal HTML and whatever I want to do here. Right. So I can have design a HTML here. Have a div or head one, heading one, and I have HTML heading two, and so on and so forth. So you can see them on the screen, heading one and heading two. Right. Okay, so let's proceed. So I'll be a little bit fast from here. So first we'll be discussing the TypeScript variables and also JavaScript variables. So variables are used to store data functions that can be used and manipulated in a program. That can be used and manipulated in a program. The variable is a name. Another word is a variable is a named container used to store data in a program. So variables are used to store values, right? So it's just like a container. Let's say, for instance, I bring a 10 liters of jerry can, and I tag this jerry can, let's say J can, right? That's the name of the container. So if I put, let's say, fuel inside this jerry can, so that is the value. So let me simply use something. Draw. Alright. So I think this will make sense. Let me draw it. What I'm illustrating. That over. Okay. Right. So let's say I have this jerry can, and I say this jerry can is okay, for instance. Alright, and I fill this with, well, my fuel don't have to come outside because my jerry can is not leaking, so don't mind my diagram. Alright, so let's just have this because I'm using a free hand. I joystick. Alright, I think I have enough, so I will just label this. Let's say this, what is inside of this is, well, that is the liquid, that is the value. Alright, that is the value. It's a fuel. So look at how variable now works. So variable, it becomes the name container. So this name of this container is the variable JK, that is the name of the container. And the value is holding is fuel. So whenever a person says, give me JK, the person is automatically saying, give me the fuel. But once I get JK, the container, I can have access to the value fuel. So whenever I get JK, I must get, whenever JK is called or given, I must get fuel. I must get fuel. I hope that makes sense. That analogy makes sense. Alright, so you can see a variable becomes this name of this container. So in coding, same thing happens. So we can have a name of something and give it a value to support for us. So that value can be a number, that value can be a text, that value can be a symbol, that value can be an array, that value can be an object, many data type it can be. Alright, so you can see exactly how it looks like. So we say this is a keyword of how we create the variable. So I will show you these three keywords, the let, cost, and var. We'll discuss that shortly. So you call the keyword, then follows the name of the variable you want to call. So if the username is this, you can give it. So TypeScript says you must tell me the kind of text you are adding. I don't use inference by default, but you can actually infer your code so that your TypeScript so that it choose dynamically. That you not say, oh, that is your choice. Is what you choose to do. Alright? So they are choosing that, no problem. But without that choosing that, by default you are meant to specify the type. So if I specify the type of string to this, it will hold a string in a quote. So how do you indicate a string? We know a string, any letter or anything inside a quote is a string. Either single quote or double quote or the tick or the tick is a string. So anything inside this, or this. So this is the tick. Number one. That is where you see. Alright. So anything inside these things is a string. Is referred as a string. Alright, so you can hold a number. So after specifying this, we use the assignment operator to assign whatever I want it to hold. So this username container, this name container username will be having a value of Enoch. Meaning whenever we call username, the word username as the variable name, we will get the value Enoch. It tests Enoch. I hope that makes sense. Same thing on age. Whenever I say age, I call assign to the number, we will get this value 25. So you can hold a number, which is just written by writing a number. We can hold a text, which is a string written in this double quote, single quote, or the tick. You can hold a Boolean values, which is either true or false. Boolean values are true or false. Or an object that are key value pairs. So we still discuss this. So arrays, elements which are arranged serially and they are being accessed on index by their index. So next we will say variable declaration in TypeScript. So in TypeScript, variable can be declared using let, cost, and var. So this is exactly keyword. These are keywords. You don't change them. And this is more use them exactly how they are. It's small letters, lowercase. Capital letter of let is not the same thing as small letter of let. I've said that before that JavaScript or TypeScript both are case sensitive. They are case sensitive. That means exactly how it's written is how you use it. Alright. So the let keyword, so this is used to declare variables that can change later. So you want to assign something and say, oh, hold something for me. Maybe I will have to give you something else to change. Oh, don't hold this thing again. So what can we have? Maybe our port serves that kind of function. Our port. Maybe you have a port. You can use that port to put water, and you can use that port to boil, maybe do meat. You can still use it to do whatever meal. So you can see that it's having different function. The same port, but what is holding changes, or changes per whatever we are doing. That is how this let is doing, is behaving. That means this value can be changed anytime or anywhere. All right. So that is what this let is saying. And their block scope means it works only within where it's being defined. That's what I mean by block scope. So if I define, if this is what I mean by block scope, if this is the entire screen, for instance, of my entire page, and I have somewhere I cut out, so somewhere here, and inside here, this is a block inside this entire function or entire shape. But you can have another one here, you can have another one here, you can have another one here. Alright, so what I mean by block scope is if I define anything here now, I say let here, so anything, if I declare a let variable here, it means that it will only be accessible within here. All these blocks won't have access to them, or anything outside of it won't have access to whatever inside here. So that's what we mean by a block element. A block element. The value can be reassigned, so you can reassign the value that is preferred over var. Var is the older version. So the constant means it's constant, it doesn't change. So you can have a particular pot, maybe a kettle, electric kettle. So what only thing you put inside that kettle is water. You don't change water. You can see that water becomes constant. So once you know that this thing I won't change it, you can use the constant keyword to declare it, and you can also tell us what data type it is. And this pi, like the pi, is always constant; it doesn't change. So you don't have any need to change this pi at any point. So it becomes constant. So the value should remain constant. Reverse length changes. Alright, so these var keywords are for the other streams. So you're developing order for other streams. So most streams don't use let. Let is a new keyword that was introduced. Alright, so some characteristics of the version of the var and the let, the differences why let was introduced. Var is a function scope, meaning if I declare a let here, even this man here will be able to access whatever I have here. That's what we mean by function, around this function. Whatever I declare here for the var, if I say var, yeah, that means whatever inside here was written, this man here can access, 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 is a function scope. That's what we mean. And can be redeclared and updated. But for let, it can't redeclare. You can't redeclare it. Alright? You can't redeclare it. But for var, you can redeclare and also update. That means change its value. Change its value. So I can't say what we mean by not redeclare. I can't have JK. Var says I can have something like JK, and I will call, maybe I'm tired of this container. I will say another container, and I name that same name JK. J.K. and assign a value. var say this one is good for var. Var say I can do that, I can redeclare. So this is 1 and I redeclare it to this. But for let's say I'm not allowed to do it. You can't do it. Right? Once it has been declared, it has been declared, you can't redeclare it. You can only update. So I can only say fuel instead of fuel, a whole diesel, a whole kerosene, and so on and so forth. So that is all we mean. So common data types. We have the string, which are set in a quote. We have the numbers, which are set as numbers from 1 to whatever number you can mention. So we have next one, Boolean, which is either true or false. So we have array, which are elements arranged in, so you can see them how it's arranged, and have objects, which are key value pairs. So you can see a key and you see a value. So we'll discuss this one after the other, as we proceed. So first, let's discuss about functions in TypeScript. Functions in TypeScript. So a function is a reusable block of code. A function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. So what do we mean by something being reusable? A block of code. Emmy, are you still with me? Alright, I have Emmy, and Rahim. You're welcome. So I will wipe this start afresh. Emmy, I hope you are following. Emmy? Are you here with us? Remy, hope you Rahim, you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so let's continue. Let's continue. Alright. Alright. So what do we mean by something is reusable? It means I can use that thing over and over and over as much as possible and at the same time. I will do a very little practical on a project which I did a long time ago. So I will just run this project something. So I think you also run this project as a practical. So this is just a basic chatbot, right? I didn't automate it with AI anyway. So I can actually move this upward. So let me move it upward. So this is a project I built. So I can say, hi, how are you? Something will say, I am doing great, right? I can still repeat again and say, hi, how are you? All right, this same thing again. I can still repeat this, hi, how are you? You see, I'm typing. Rahim, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What do you think I can do now? Maybe since these same words are the same, I can do so that I don't waste so much time typing. I can just have whenever I need it, I can call him, so we just be writing hi, how are you for you. So what do you think you can do? So I don't need to type every time. Because if I need this, I will say hi, how are you?
I think you can declare it as a.
Huh?
I think you can declare it as a.
No. Just leave coding for now. Like in a real life scenario, you are using. I'm chatting. So for you not to repeat yourself always, what do you think you can do? I'm giving a very scenario so we can understand how function works.
You copied it.
So I can copy it, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I. So this I can control. I can copy this man now. Control C. Now I say enter. So whenever I need this, all I have to say Control V, it will come. You can see how fast I am now compared to when I was typing. So you can see that I am also easier work for me. So this is exactly how our function works. So it's a reusable block of code. So those things I have written, these are the code I have written, for instance. and I'll copy them and save them maybe with a name. So whenever I call that name, I keep just getting them. Like I say, Control V, I keep getting them. So that is how function works. I hope that makes sense. That is exactly the future, the what makes the again.
After the arrangement guy make one. I got to keep the guy. Let me show you something. But the guy not getting security. And the guy not to call people back again to the doctor. So the guy not to call people back.
To reuse it. So that's exactly what we mean by a reusable block of code. So the very basic snippet is this. So this is how we declare it. So you call a keyword in the program now. We call a keyword, call it a function. We'll give it the name of the function. So this name of the function means like the Control V, right? Which I've copied. So whenever this greet is called, whatever inside this curly brace will be returned every time it's called. So whenever instead of me writing my name, hello, whatever name, I can just say greet. And if you say hello, greet, hello, greet, hello. So whenever instead of saying using my mouth to say hello, or comfort, blah blah blah, I just have a function that is doing it very fast for me. So whenever I just call the name, greet. Just like maybe a robot, it has been programmed. Whenever they press, you tell you greet, you greet. Whenever they just stop you to greet, you greet. That kind of thing. Or we can, whenever you see somebody, greet, activate.
This is the end.
That kind of thing. When person enters, you can say, or motion, whenever you detect this person, greet, activate. It will just greet the person, hello. Whenever I say another person, activate. If you go and come back, he sees it, will still greet you, because you are triggering it. It's a command. So this is how we declare that function. So say function, and this has a meaning. We break it down. We have this greet. Follow this greet can be changed depending on what function you want to create. So we can have, then you have the parentheses. The parentheses must be there, right? Then the parameters can be as much as possible. Then this is the outcome type. What is returned, right? What are you returning at the end? So this is still returning a string. That's how we say a string. So we'll break it down. So first we have the name string. The key part. So have name string, that is parameter type. This one, a name inside this property, this parameter. This parameter sounds like a variable. It's just a name holding whatever information for us temporarily until they get the actual data. So we can say, since I don't know the name of the person, right? I don't know the name of the person.
I said begin.
So okay, let me explain it this way. I have a boutique or a very big plaza. I have my robots. All right, I have a robot, and I will be, as my robots will be seeing thousands or millions of customers. There is no way I know every customer's name. I'm giving an analogy so you can understand how this parameter actually works, the function of what it's doing. So there is no way on earth I will know all my customers' name. All right, but I want to be greeting them. All right. So what I can do, I will write a function. Since I need their name, but I don't know their name, I can just give you something to represent each person's name, but I don't know any of their names. So this name is the name that is representing the 1 million or 1 billion customers that I have. So this name represents everybody. So if A comes, A name will now replace. Alright, so I'll use this name. So this name times like the temporary name that is storing every customer coming to my shop, coming to my plaza. Alright, then I now call that name, say hello, whatever name. So I can say, before a customer enter my shop, you just say your name. Or before you enter my shop, you write your name. So maybe you write Emeka as your int, or you say Emeka is my name, my whatever program I'm writing, we get that name and replace, instead of name, it will now replace it with the name you say. Maybe you say Emeka, you say instead of this name now, you replace it with Emeka, you now say hello Emeka. Another person comes and say Amaka, it will replace this name again with Amaka and repeat again, hello Amaka. Another person comes again and say Michael, you replace this one and say hello Michael. That's how this parameter works. That's what I mean by this parameter. So the next one is the return type. You say what type you returning at the end. So if this can say that the name is writing a string, and we say return, it will return a string at the end. So the names must always be a string. So it's going to return a letter. That is how TypeScript is treated, right? You must define most of those things. And if you define a string and you're returning a number, it will give you an error. So no, you said that the test will be returning a string. Why are you returning a number? It will give you that error. So next one is a function, which is the keyword. So whenever you are defining a function, you must use this function keyword. And this is how you call it, by the name with the parentheses. So if there is any attribute, you put in a value for the attributes, for the parameters rather. So function parameters. So this is exactly what I just said. So this type will allow type parameters. So you can put in a name. You can see maybe I need two persons' name at a time, A and B. I don't know their name. I can just use a letter to replace them. So just two pairs. Come, give me your name. Michael, Chiamaka. This one put two. Alright, so I have Michael and Chiamaka. I need two numbers because these are numbers. So whatever you can give me this one to be 5. You can give me this one to be 10. You can use it again. Give me this one to be 100. You can use this one to be 50. By default, I don't know the number I want to call. But whenever I want to use it, I already use arbitrary letters to store them. So just give me the actual number or value for it, and it will return a number. So next one is optional parameter. So optional parameter means you can actually put something and say it's optional. So I can use it, I cannot use it. So that's what we mean. So it's optional. I can use it, I cannot use it. So I can say if age, right? It's optional. If age, I can return the names and the age, and this is the tick sign I'm actually referring to. So in case you see this sign, don't be confused, right? So why this guy is used, because they want to add a TypeScript code, a variable. That's why it was used. If not, they would have concatenated if they didn't use this. If they use a normal opening and closing. So next one is a default parameter. So when you say by default, if you didn't provide anything for me, so what this means is that age without providing age, and it will run, but it's optional. It can actually run. So that's why it's checking something for me. So if only if age is provided, that is only when this code will run. That is what is happening here. Only if age is provided, you have a condition saying only when age is provided. If age is not, because age is optional, so we don't want to be running age when age is not available. So if age is not available, only when we run age. Hence, we run only the name, because we are not sure if age is available or not. Alright, the default values are when we provide an actual value, meaning if I say name and I say guest, right, as a name by default, that means if a customer enters my shop and he didn't say his name, or he did not write his name, my AI will just say hello guest, because that is the default value I gave for him. Since the person did not tell me his name, we'll use guest for him or her. So we say hello guest. But if you provided Chiamaka, we say hello Chiamaka. So you can see what this default parameter is doing. And that is it. So exactly what we are doing. So if you say hello name, if no name is provided when it's called, you say hello guest. That is exactly what is happening. So here another one is arrow function in TypeScript. So arrow function provides a shorter syntax. So just like a short form of writing a function. So that is where they indicate the arrow. So instead of saying function keyword, there's other shorter way we can write it, like you're writing a variable by using any of the variable declaration keywords. You can use let, you can use cost. Alright, always recommend to use cost. Okay, so next is the function type. So this is something that makes TypeScript very different from JavaScript. or a bit advanced than JavaScript. So type will allow defining the type of a function. So for instance, you can say this is what you mean by type. Well, before I have a function, I already define a type of function it will be. So whatever function that takes up this type of type must behave exactly the way I have defined it. So you can say let calculate, and it has these parameters. So you say for x there must be x, that means there must be one value here, there must be one value here, and that value must be a number, and it must return a number. So is this to use it in a function, you first of all call it and reassign the function. So you don't need to give any name again for the function. So say the calculate function, don't need to give a name, and this accept only 2. If you put 3 here, you have an error because this is only 2. It's only accepting 2. If I put c here among them to make it 3 parameters, or along this place, and when calling it, and I say a or a string, it will give me an error because the pattern says it must be a number. That's what we mean by type. And that's all. Then let's run a very simple function. Alright, let me run a very simple function. So let's do a function that subtracts 2 numbers. Let's solve this. Alright, so I can remove this head for now. I'll come to my intro.js. And I said to do that, I can use the function keyword. Then after the function keyword, you can give, let's say, sub num. Alright, so we have this parenthesis. I say what will be here, your parameter. So what I want to be subtracting 2 numbers. Or let's say I want to subtract 3 numbers, so I can show you the importance of optional parameters. I will show you the importance of optional parameters. So I can say what a will be, a must be a number. Then I say b, what will be b, b must be a number because we are doing a number. And c is optional and it is a number. Alright, and this will at r, and this will also produce a number. Alright, and this will produce a number. So we can return. So we can say if, because since this is 3 numbers, someone can provide 2 numbers. Alright, so this will calculate both 2 and 3 numbers for us. This, what I'm doing here, this function will calculate both 2 and 3 numbers. So I want to check if this third one is not available, because before you can get to this thing, you must have provided 1 and 2 before this third one. So if it's only 2 that is available, we will add the 2 for them if C is not available. So let's check for C. So if C is available, so what we want to do, we want to return A minus B minus C. X, if it's not available, we return A minus B. So how do we call this function? We'll call the function using, so let's run it on our log. I'll say sub number. So let's provide 2 numbers. So I say 10, second one I say 5, next one I provide 3. So since I provided 3 numbers, this thing will just pick up this 3 and say 10 minus 5 minus 3. So automatically this will compile. So let's run our HTML again. HTML. I'll close this spot, run it again. So I can refresh, inspect this code, and let's see our control. So you can see console. You see that what happens here, that it checks 10 minus 5 minus 10, which is 2, and it displays it on our console. I'll say console. So we can actually say alert. Let's see if we can alert it. Then that will be easier for me. So we can say alert. It will pop up. It will say 2. So if we provide two numbers, only 2, it will ignore C, so it will do only A and B, and it say 5. So if we say 1, so definitely we should have an error. So you can see what TypeScript is saying. TypeScript say expected 2. It doesn't even allow me to proceed. It just give me an error immediately to tell me that I must provide at least 2. I must provide at least 2. I hope that makes sense, Rahim. Rahim?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this is how we write it by default. So this can also be written with a short, that is arrow function, which we say is the shorter form. So to do that, I can say a variable of cost. So I said we can use the let a variable. So for variable, to create a variable, let's do a demo of how we create a variable. I can say let name. I say what type of value is this one holding? Name is holding a string. Then I'll now do assignment operator. So it must hold a string in a quote. So I can say Enoch. This is a variable. So whenever I alert name, Enoch will show. So if I replace it, it shows me 8 and it shows me Enoch. So whenever this alert name is called, Enoch will show. That is for variable. So let's do a short arrow function of, let me leave it for those that would like to copy it. So let's do arrow function of this version of what we did, the arrow function, shorter form. So I can say cost sub number 2, since I already have one sub already, and I say this. So I use my parentheses and say I need A, and A will be a number. I need B, and B will be a number. And I need C, which is optional, and it will still be a number. And the output will still be a number. Then here comes the arrow. So you now say arrow, and now open the block. So this, I can just copy the same thing I have here. I can copy the same thing I have here. Just replace inside. That's all my code. I hope that is clear, Rahim. That is all we'll be doing today.
Yes,
So
sir.
I didn't want to bother us so much. So I will take it little by little. In our next, we're talking about logic and conditions. Our next class. So we'll take that step by steps. Any confusion? Any question? Rahim?
Sir, does this apply to JavaScript as well?
Yes, exactly. Whatever we are doing is same thing with JavaScript. Only difference between this and JavaScript that in JavaScript it doesn't ask you to tell me the type of file you are adding. JavaScript just say just tell me only the name and the age. Whatever file you provide, we'll just convert it and know what you provided. So we dynamically choose whatever data type it is. But TypeScript says you must tell me the data type.
Okay, sir.
Is that clear? Alright. Any other question? Hemi, any question? Are you on the chat? Let me see. Oh. Have I corrected this message? Rahim.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I can't hear him again. Hemi, you said no? Why are you confused? What is your question? Let me.
I have no question for now.
Okay, you have no question. Is well understood. Alright, I believe so. Alright, so can go through again with the recording. Watch it like twice. Right? It makes more sense whenever I watch something over and over. So you grab it. Alright, so this is an assignment to help you again. on that function. So you set up your own TypeScript uh, file or folder, a project TypeScript. So you can call it assignment, whatever name for TypeScript. Follow the pattern, just exactly what I followed in creating mine to create your own. So once you have done that, create on your source directory, create any file that handles this assignment, and write a function that takes a name as a parameter and returns a greeting message, just like the example I gave. And say good morning sir, or good morning Mecca, or good morning whoever, whatever you want to write. So it takes a name, so you can give it a name, you can give it Hemi and him, and you write him, and you call him, say good morning. If it's afternoon, you check your time. You can say if it's afternoon, tell him good afternoon, him, so on and so forth. So that is for this first one. Second one, say create a function that adds two numbers and returns the result. So we already added subtracted three numbers. So this one say you should do the one that add addition instead of subtraction, that adds two numbers. I hope that is clear. Is this assignment clear? Hemi and Remy.
Yeah, that's clear, sir. So the formal assignment, where can I find it?
It's on the slide.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's on the slide. You will see it. Here's an example there. Add an image gallery. You see it there. Okay, so if that is all, we'll be rounding up for today. Mario, anything for us before we call it a beautiful hot afternoon?
Yes, yes.